is because with regards to the nature of men, or nature of women, I should say, is that a woman can only get pregnant one child at a time, as opposed to a man. If a man has 4 wives, he can potentially have 4 pregnancies at one time, as opposed to a woman who can only get pregnant at one time. So she had 4 husbands, she can still only get pregnant once, as opposed to a man who had 4 wives, he can impregnate 4 women, in which in our religion we consider having children to be a very noble and honorable thing to increase the nation of Muslims. So this is something that, these are some reasons, biologically, some reasons religiously.
And jealousy is probably another one. I mean, given the fact that, I mean, most brothers, come on, let's be honest, just would not be able to grasp the whole notion of sharing their woman, sharing their wife.
According to some of your comments, most women can't grasp that concept of having more than one, their husband having more than one wife. But I think that might be it. And that's because, and if that is the nature of man, and the Creator knows His creation best, that's probably why that's one of the reasons it's not working.
The point we need to make is that they're dealing with polygyny whether they like it or not. Willingly or unwillingly, our women are dealing with polygyny because, as I said earlier, we're living in a society where there is extramarital, there's adultery and fornication and all the likes of these matters are going on. So you're going to deal with it willingly or unwillingly. At least in Islam, it has been regulated to whereas a man just can't go about and have his joys. That's why I mentioned there's some studies from feminists themselves. Some people would think that feminists disagree with polygyny, but actually feminists, I found a nice study by Wright, where she mentioned that polygyny is actually in support of women and feminism. Why? Because it causes a man to be responsible. A male-dominated society like our society would love that polygyny stays illegal because he can have his fun on the side and not be responsible for those children that he makes outside.
His cake and eat it too.
Have his cake and eat it too.
All right, let's go to William from King of Prussia. William, how you doing? You're on 900 AM WURD.
William, are you there?
This is Sally.
Sally from Overbrook. How you doing?
We apologize, Sally. We're having some confusion with lines today because they're blowing up to such a degree, but we apologize for that.
I'll accept your apology. Good afternoon, everyone there.
Good afternoon, Sally. How you doing?
And hi, Sister Debbie from Germantown. When the man accepts 2 wives to your guest, God forbid if something happened to the man, who gets the Social Security?
Good question. The person who he's legally married to, I'm assuming. She said if a man's married to 2 wives and something happens to him, who gets his Social Security?
You know, one would say and argue that the person that is legally married, but marriage is a contract. And even in a plural situation, the husband can enter into individual contracts with each particular wife where he has a certain responsibility. And in Islam, you have a responsibility to have a will that will suffice and take care of the people that you leave behind for a certain period of time.
Women, they only give it to women.
Let me answer the question because you asked me. So what I'm submitting to you now, and actually, to be honest with you, who answered that question? The legislation answered that question in several states when they allow domestic partnership. Because what they indicate now is that one can assign their Social Security, one can assign their insurance, one can assign their IRA, one can assign their retirement. But
can you assign them to multiple people?
Can you assign them to different, just like you have
multiple people?
Just like
I'm going to hang up
like you have. If I can continue, hold on. I know you all want to beat me up, but hold on for a second.
Okay.
Just like you have an insurance policy with different beneficiaries,
right?
You can in fact have an assignment of Social Security. How do you have that, Mr. El-Shabazz? Well, you have that when you have children of a particular spouse, where more than one child, in fact, is assigned in addition to the adult.
I understand the children.
But Social Security is not going to give out with one check to one woman.
But one can have a contract. If I can, let me try. I wasn't clear with my explanation because you're still asking me the question. One can have a contract. For example, in Islam, there is a fairness, a justness in the treating of more than one spouse. Are we okay right there? If, in fact, there is a fairness and a justice in the treating of one spouse and one has a Social Security check, one can, in fact, enter into a contract with his legally or civilly married wife, if we're going to use that term. And that contract could address any income that could be derived after his demise. That contract can be recognized in a court of law. You can assign money that is due you
to someone else.
To someone else. So you can assign part of that Social Security money to the civilly married wife and assign part of that Social Security money to the religiously married wife. And both individuals can then benefit from the Social Security money.
Yeah, but you can't. But only one woman can go to the Social Security office.
But that one person, that one woman, would have entered into a legally binding contract that would indicate that a portion of that money, that one check that she took from the Social Security company or office to the bank, that portion of that particular check, however she wants to do it, has to go to this individual. And if it doesn't,
suppose it's only $600.
well, then it's $300 a piece.
Can't live off of that.
Well, I would hope, and I would pray that we make particular whole idea of plural marriage and talking about the information that we're giving out here on WURD is that in order for a man to take on religiously and rightly more than one spouse, he has to be able to deal with them justly. That is dealing with them justly in time,
But who
dealing
makes
with
that
them justly.
determination? Who makes that determination?
In Islam, remember we had this conversation. In Islam, there's no dating in Islam. In Islam, there is something that's called a wali. Hold on, I'm telling you right now, a wali and a wakil. The wali and the wakil investigate the husband prior to the marriage to the wife or the daughter. I mean, to the daughter or the sister or however he's related to the particular person that he's in charge of. One of the things that the wali or wakil does is check the financial status of the individual to ensure that that individual can fulfill the right.
But I'm not just talking about finances. I'm talking about respect and honor. I'm saying, how do we know, how do you know that that's actually happening in those relationships?
Because the wali and the wakil is still in contact with the once she becomes a wife. She's still if I'm her father, she's still my daughter. She still would tell me if there's an issue, and I would be an arbiter in that relationship to deal with it. See, one of the things that we have to do is when we talk about plural marriages, we got to talk about it in terms of marriage as well. How do we know that when we marry our daughter in a monogamous relationship that she's going to be respected? Right. How do we know when we marry our daughter in a monogamous relationship?
Though. That's when we were talking about balance early on and respect and honor. And
Absolutely.
I think that all that's important. Make sure that they're being treated equally. But I'm just saying is how does one know, or how does...
Because the difference is, in Islam, the guardian doesn't give up, which is the wakil or the wali, doesn't give up his right of guardianship when there is an issue that develops between a marriage. For example, let's think about monogamy. In a monogamous relationship with my daughter, using an example, and this is just a hypothetical, please don't blow up the lines. With my daughter gets married. I'm going to ensure that that husband she married, give her rights. Even after he married, they could be married 50 years. If I'm still around, I'm going to ensure, not about being in my pocket, because my daughter can always get in my pocket, but I want to ensure.
If she marries him and he don't have anything, you want to make sure that she's not going to dig in your pocket.
Oh, no, not at all. No, not at all. What I want to make sure is that she gets her rights. And one of the things you do, one of the ways you do that is you have a guardian who acts as an arbiter.
I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you might not like how the answers taste.
Thanks for the question, Sally. We certainly appreciate it. You take care. We're going to go to Derek, who is a financial planner, Mr. El-Shabazz, who said he's actually kind of dealt with this situation before. Derek, are you there?
I'm here.
Thanks for giving us a call at the Pulse. You want to kind of talk about your experience on this topic?
Really quickly, en route on the way home, grace and peace to all the hosts of this